Something is coming for us that cannot be stopped. And that is exactly why it will fail. The rumbling begins deep in the ground, long before the silhouette appears on the horizon. It is no ordinary engine noise. It is the physical displacement of 57 tons of mass. July 1943. The steppe of Kursk is bone dry. Dust, fine as flour and sharp as glass, forms an abrasive cloud eating into every seal, every bearing, and every lung. We are looking at a predator made of steel, engineered for eternal dominance. Yet, while the world trembles at this sight, the verdict on this machine has already been delivered, not by the enemy, but by the relentless laws of gravity and logistics. The Tiger marches toward its own downfall, and every meter of ground it conquers simultaneously becomes its judge. Inside turret number 231, the gunner steadies his pedal. Sweat burns in his eyes, mixed with the acrid stench of heated transmission oil. He must not blink. His entire world in this moment is reduced to a crosshair dancing to the rhythm of the terrain. He feels the vibration of the Maybach engine directly in his back. 113-degree, oily air that tastes of burnt gasoline. He feels invincible, and exactly that is the mistake. What he doesn't realize, he is not sitting in a Hunter. He is sitting in a mechanical dead end. Today we are not just analyzing a vehicle. We are dissecting the magnificent failure of a philosophy. The steel god has arrived, but his feet are already crumbling. Where does this system come from? The Tiger tank is not a product of evolutionary planning. It is the result of a traumatic shock. In the summer of 1941, the Wehrmacht encounters the Soviet T-34 during Operation Barbarossa. Suddenly, everything Berlin believed they knew about tank warfare is obsolete. Standard weapons bounce off harmlessly. The answer must be absolute. Hitler demands technological dominance at any price. He wants a weapon that breaks the enemy psychologically, before the first shot is even fired. It begins with corruption, vanity, and political maneuvering. Ferdinand Porsche, the dictator's favorite designer, enters the fray against the Henschel works. Porsche bets on a revolutionary gasoline-electric drive, two massive electric motors intended to drive the tracks. It is a technical marvel, but in a total war, it is logistical insanity. It consumes vast amounts of copper reserved for U-boats and the electrical industry. April 20th, 1942, Hitler's birthday at the Wolf's Lair. The Porsche prototype is meant to shine. It rolls slowly onto the test grounds and literally bursts into flames before the eyes of the dictator. Smoke billows from the engine compartment, a harbinger of what is to come, a system collapsing under its own complexity before it even reaches the battlefield. Henschel wins with a conventional design, but the Porsche influence leaves scars the system will never lose. Massive weight growth. Planned for 45 tons, the final machine weighs nearly 60. A child of panic, built for total dominance, but without regard for the load-bearing capacity of the Earth's crust. A marvel was built for the laboratory, but they forgot the ground it was meant to stand on. The steel god was born heavy. Even before the Tiger appears at the front, propaganda elevates it to an invincible steel god. The myth feeds on hard ballistics, the 8.8-centimeter KWK-36, combined with Zeiss precision optics. In Normandy, Tiger phobia emerges. Entire divisions hold their breath when the word comes over the radio. This dominance was no accident, but the result of optical perfection. The Zeiss turret sights, specifically the TZF-9B, were the mathematical interface between man and destruction. The gunner didn't just see the enemy, he measured them. Through precise scaling, he could estimate the distance to within 100 meters, while Allied optics often provided only blurred silhouettes. But this precision came at a price. A kinetic shock from Soviet cannons was often enough to de-align the highly sensitive prisms. In that moment, the optical masterpiece transformed into a useless piece of glass. The steel god became blind in an instant. And a blind god is no god at all. For a system that demands perfection cannot survive in chaos. And exactly here is where the fatal error begins. For while generals in map rooms calculate with theoretical invincibility, mechanical reality on the front is breaking the system's spine. The tactical superiority of a Michael Wittmann masks the strategic death of the platform. The myth blinds the leadership. They begin to believe that quality can replace quantity. A mistake that from now on will be paid for in blood in the workshop trenches. The system tips from a technological advantage to an operational burden. Heinz Guderian recognizes the logistical grave ahead. He sees the Tiger as a sledgehammer, but he receives a system that needs more maintenance than deployment time. Men like Kurt Knispel or Otto Carius carry the true burden. They are the forensic technicians of scarcity. They know One wrong jerk of the steering lever and the 60-ton god becomes a stationary target. In Operation Citadel, these men become prisoners of a system built for static laboratory combat, not for the infinite depth of Russia. Designed by Dr. Ernst Kniepkamp, the interleaved road wheels were meant to provide stability, but forensically speaking, it is logistical suicide. The system is simply too complex for the unforgiving reality of the mud. Imagine it is January 1943, minus 30 degrees Celsius on the Eastern Front. An inner road wheel of a Tiger has broken. A mechanic kneels in the frozen mud. His fingers are numb. His skin sticks to the ice-cold steel. To get to this one innermost wheel, he must dismantle 9 outer wheels. Each weighs hundreds of kilograms. He is not fighting the Red Army. He is fighting the arrogance of his own tank's designers. He curses as the brittle cast steel splinters under his tools. Friction is everywhere. The Maybach 512 engine is chronically overloaded. To move 57 tons, the Tiger consumes 1,000 liters of gasoline per 100 kilometers off-road. At night, the mud freezes between the wheels into solid ice. In the morning, this ice shatters the track links like glass as soon as the driver engages first gear. The god stops. The system eats itself from the bottom up. The Tiger isn't stationary because it was defeated. It is stationary because it exists. The true logistical horror only revealed itself when the machine finally broke down for good. A Tiger was not a vehicle you could simply tow away. To pull a single Tiger out of the Russian mud, 3 heavy 18-ton FAMO tractors were required. They had to be coupled one behind the other in a laborious train. It was an absurd spectacle, a chain of man, machine, and steel over 50 meters long crawling at a snail's pace. And while this 50-meter chain of steel moves defenselessly across the steppe, Soviet ground attack aircraft are already circling above them. Often the tow bars snapped like matchsticks under the static load. Logistics became a cannibal here. To save a dying system, they sacrificed the tools that kept the rest of the army alive. And often, none of them survived. The Tiger is thrown wherever the German system is burning. The first deployment near Leningrad is a logistical disaster. In the swampy terrain, the prototypes get stuck without firing a shot. It is the first warning. Weight is the Tiger's greatest enemy. Kursk, Operation Citadel, 147 Tiger tanks. The leadership presses this massive weight into a space where bridges and roads were built for 20 tons. The system blocks itself. If a Tiger breaks down, it stops an entire column. The Allies respond not with fear, but with mathematics. It is no longer a fight between tanks. It is a fight between factories. A Tiger destroys 10 Shermans from an ambush. A triumph? No. It is statistically meaningless. While this one Tiger sits in the workshop, 50 new tanks roll off the line in Detroit and the Urals. For every Sherman knocked out, 2 new ones stand ready. For every Tiger, there is only the end. The god is outnumbered, always. The Tiger is like a hand-forged sword in a world fighting with machine-made axes. The sword is sharper, but it only breaks once, and the axes come in waves. In the heat of Kursk, superiority turns into paralysis. The turret traverse speed is too slow. A T-34 circles the Tiger in seconds. The Zeiss optics lose calibration due to near misses. The Tiger is now blind. By the end of Operation Citadel, over 100 Tigers are lost, only 20% due to enemy fire. The rest? Mechanical failure, scuttling, logistical collapse. The system failed before the 3 incorruptible judges of war: space, time, and mass. The Tiger was built for a war that took place in the minds of the designers, not in the reality of attrition. We look upon the battlefield of Kursk. Between the burning wrecks stands a Tiger, undamaged, no hits. But its engine is silent, its tracks are sunk in the mud, and its crew has fled. It is the perfect symbol for the German downfall, a god without power, a giant without ground. He was not destroyed, he was abandoned, by his crew, by his logistics, by reality. The steel god was not defeated. He was simply left behind by a world that moved faster than he could. The myth grows while the operative reality dies miserably in the workshop trenches of Russia. For in the end, 3 variables decide every war: space, time, and mass, and the Tiger, lost against all 3 at the same time. The Tiger is a failure, becoming a myth.